Top 5 Best Things About Alien Isolation. Alien Isolation is a unique science fiction horror survival video game, definitely a very atmospheric achievement, impressive in quality of many audio-visual elements, which effortlessly and successfully stands right next to the first film in the Alien franchise. By the way, it's my favorite retro-futuristic simulation ever. This video was prompted by the unexpected and pleasant news that from December of 2021, a version of this game will be available for iOS and Android devices. This is also an opportunity to once again remind ourselves why Alien Isolation is not only a great video game, but also a unique interactive work that surpasses many other similar attempts in the Alien franchise regards quality and impact of experience. Number 1. Atmosphere. Simply put, the experience of moving through spaces and surroundings is amazing, even photorealistic. Every part of the ship Torrance, Anesidora and Sevastopol station is masterfully crafted. In addition to the enviable level of simulating the reality of this fictional universe, the retro-futurism factor must also be taken into account, because it is that part of the atmosphere that is truly unique in this game. Each technological artifact and device looks in the style of early 80s, more precisely in the style of technology as it was in the first film of the Alien franchise. That choice is as bold as it is backed up by action, as the story in Alien Isolation takes place just 15 years after the ending of the first film. And from the position of an uninformed observer, one might ask this question: how is it possible that this simulation of the future is so convincing if technology seems outdated in relation to our modern times? Because we are still unable to go that far into space? My favorite answer is very simple. What if WY Corporation, like many other things, took over the monopoly over technology itself? In this case, it is very easy to conclude that the more modern and advanced technology of the future is jealously guarded only for their own personal needs, and not the daily needs of the many travelers and employees who travel through space. Very convincing and possible explanation. Number 2. First-person perspective. Interesting. I have always found first-person games disappointing and ones that negate my general experience of movement and action in the game environment. That's why I always avoided them. Maybe it was some subconscious aversion to first-person shooter games, which are just unbearable to me. And so, for years I tried out adventures with third-person player perspective: Prince of Persia, Tomb Raider, Blades of Time, Assassin's Creed, Jade Empire. The first exception I ever made was a game called Mirror's Edge. Parkour-based game in first POV seemed very refreshing to me. Of course, luckily there was no intense shooting, otherwise I wouldn't have smelled it, let alone played it. And so, one day, I decided to play Alien Isolation. When I realized it was a first-person game, I immediately felt underwhelmed about it, but who knows? The game wasn't a shooter and like Mirror's Edge, so maybe the experience could be intriguing, especially if it is rooted in Alien franchise fictional universe. It turned out to be unique. The experience of first-person movement is deeply immersive in the clearly different landscapes of the game, and these are the interiors of the station and the two ships, Anesidora and Torrance. In short, this is the type of first-person gameplay that works exceptionally well. These are two irrefutable advantages. The first advantage, the player is extremely deeply immersed in the eerie, seemingly quiet spaces of the station that cause deep discomfort. Playing from the third-person perspective, I am convinced, would not have such a strong effect. Another advantage, by placing the camera in the first-person perspective, gaming developers eliminated the possible lack of graphic persuasiveness that might occasionally appear at some point, if the main heroine's shoulders and nape were not always masterfully rendered. In any case, this concern and the solution of potential problems around this issue has been completely circumvented, without losing overall experience. Finally, third-person perspective could be added as a bonus after the first successful playthrough, in the style of changing settings in the Uncharted series at the end of the game, changing filters, camera angle, character costumes and their replacement, infinite ammo, etc. Something like that may never appear as an added bonus in this game, but I have a hunch it may happen in its sequel. Number 3, a huge station. The curiosity of being at Sevastopol stations is an indispensable fact that cannot be ignored. From the scattered numerous parts of the cabins, rooms and corridors, all the way to a few generously presented and numerous lookouts to the outer space and the gas giant near the station. The amount, beauty and recognizability of different locations is impressive. Some of them are interiors of the ship turrets at the beginning of the game, different areas of the station, corridors, alien hive, modular laboratory, medical and communication levels, all the way to the derelict ship on LV-426, 9th mission, and the ship Torrance, mission 1 and 19, and the ship Anasadora, mission 15. Like rare similar cases, this game tries to evoke the unnerving atmosphere convincingly, without haste. So personally, it was not at all long and boring for me to fully enjoy every peaceful and amazing moment of moving through the first and second missions, still without the presence of the Xenomorph. If I had to compare, I would conclude that a dozen of clearly different interiors are completely unique and recognizable, like Spencer Mansion from Resident Evil 1, or Police Station from Resident Evil 2. Here we have unforgettable locations from which it is difficult to choose the most impressive, because the very fact that the developers managed to create a substantial number of fascinating interiors and locations, and make them independent and interesting beyond standard expectations, is a great and unforgettable success. Number 4, Xenomorph. What to say, the iconic alien creature, who in this video game adaptation has lost nothing of its cinematic cunningness and ruthlessness, is completely and successfully realized accomplishment on its own. Of course, if playing on easier game difficulty levels, Xenomorph is less persistent in searching the player and appearing, while at higher game difficulty levels it is more active and vicious. Most importantly, appearance of the well-known alien creature, no matter how intense, frightening, impressive and breathtaking, is extremely well balanced. Example, in the first mission it is absent, in the second mission it is also absent, except in the cutscene at the level's ending. In the third mission, it is absent, but only until halfway through the mission, because when it appears in the cutscene within the gameplay engine, the experience is terrifying. In the fourth mission, it is absent, except in the form of saliva leaking from a vent on the ceiling, and is able to kill the character if not cautious, but it will be no more proactive than that. It is completely absent in the 8th and 9th missions, as well as in the 11th, 12th and 13th missions. Further, in the 15th mission it is present only in the form of a single face hugger. After that, it is present until the very end of the game. And here it can really be concluded that a balance of the presence of Xenomorph has been achieved as much as other threats. It is interesting to note that familiarity with the game and recognizing a situation in which Xenomorph is not and cannot be present is possible after few playthroughs. For example, running. The game warns you not to run because it attracts the attention of the Xenomorph, but in the 2nd, 4th, 8th, 11th, 12th, 13th and 15th missions, running all the time is a completely reasonable and risk-free option. Therefore, The balance of the presence of different enemies is excellently affected, in synergy with the duration of the game, different and interesting environments and the development of the story. The character of the Xenomorph has been impressively realized, and so far, I would say, its quality is unsurpassed in other attempts at video game adaptation. Undoubtedly, an impressive achievement overall. Number 5. Expectations. The expectations created by the synergy of action, atmosphere, dialogue and the totality of all the elements that make up the game, are very coherent and in line with the specific realism of the Alien franchise. Of course, the persuasiveness of the plot sometimes subsides so that some other elements shine brightly for the moment, but in the end, these are negligible little things. What the game teaches to expect a person is a brutally realistic version of surviving in retro-futuristic conditions, and it is an honest, brutal lesson. Xenomorph creature really adds to the impact of that lesson overall. Personally, it is more interesting to me than many other science fiction undertakings, either in film or other media, and judging by the overall multi-year reception by many reviewers, this is certainly an intriguing, and above all, atmospheric achievement with multiple doses of replay value. Simply put, Alien Isolation is awesome.